Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here. Today is our favorite day. It's Suzanne on the podcast day. We've got Suzanne Bandick, one of our amazing implementation coaches. Everybody loves her. If you don't, you're nutballs. Today, we are going to talk about how to make the most out of every interaction, not just with clients, but with employees. I think if you're smart, you could probably do this with kids and spouses. And I just want to encourage you as business owners. I hate to be, as a human, 80-90% of our success comes with the interactions we have with other humans. I think if you could just get that right, you could pretty much rule the world. And if you get that wrong, you're pretty much going to be miserable or dead. So don't want to oversell, but this is a pretty big, if you get this right, you don't need many other things right. And if you get this wrong, I don't know there's any other skills you can get that would overcome your inability to have good interactions with a human. So with that build up, Suzanne, no pressure. Just tell us how to make everything better immediately.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, well, this actually ties into a podcast you and I did recently. And that's where I was talking about the stories that we tell ourselves.
Mm.
And one of the stories that I said would help empower you is I always get what I want.
Mm-hmm.
This actually ties in to how to make the most of every interaction. And before I do this, I want to answer something that I had to get clarity on for myself.
Mm-hmm.
When I say I always get what I want, it's not necessarily an I win, you lose. When I say I always get what I want, it serves a lot of people. So I would encourage everybody to realize that when you get a new client, okay, we're talking about the different interactions that you would have. One, you do a pre-call to see if you should go and do a walkthrough for your client. In that pre-call, you're defining whether this is good for both of you so you don't waste time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So getting what you want, getting that clarity helps that potential client. Doing the walkthrough, you're going to affirm that you have great rapport and they say yes. That's going to be the intention that you have. If it's a good fit, they say yes. So again, you're getting what you want helps them because they get a cleaner. This is residential or commercial, right? Other interactions, spouses, you mentioned it, right? Spouses, significant others, children. Generally, the interaction is to serve everybody.
I hate to use the word always, but I'd almost go with always. Like I always want what's best for everybody, which is what I want. So, it's obviously if you're out there going, I want to win and I want other people to lose, we're probably not the podcast for you. Not because we're judging, just that's not how we would look at the world. So I think if the foundation is always what I want is what's best for everybody, that's just, I don't want to say assumed, maybe unspoken, but we're speaking it. And I always get what I want. And if the assumption is I want what's best for everybody, we might do an initial call. And I think, well, I want to make a sale. Maybe if I really want what's best for everybody, Suzanne and I might talk and find out she needs a one-time clean, but I only do recurring cleans. And what I want is to make sure I give Suzanne the best I can, which I do, and go, hey, we're not a best fit for that. Maybe I know someone I can refer her, maybe not. And I don't want to waste a bunch of Suzanne's time or try and talk her into something she doesn't want. So I can still get what I want, even if it's not a sale or a bid. It can be, I was able to serve Suzanne for the best of our ability. And I'm sure there'll be another call around the corner. And if there's not, I'll make sure there's another call coming around the corner. That is someone that would make sense to go sell to. And if I go and meet with Suzanne and we find out it's not a best fit, same thing. I want to serve Suzanne. And one of the things I tell my team is on the sales side is serve them all and let God sort them out. It is okay to give everything I can to Suzanne. And if I give everything I can to 10 clients, I'll probably rarely are all 10 going to buy, but I almost overwhelmingly am going to have a very successful company in the long run. So it's okay if Suzanne turns into a client or not. If I serve everybody, usually money gets taken care of almost exclusively.
Now you all see why Mike and I get along so well.
It's so funny because we're so different in how we, I don't want to say manifest, but show up. But
Uh-huh.
I think we come from very similar places. It just looks real different on you. It's a lot more attractive on Suzanne than me, I can assure you all.
We really do. We're very similar, and that's absolutely what I'm talking about. Making the most of every interaction. So let's continue because I actually have 3 points, believe it or not.
Shocker.
And let's cover again some of the interactions. So it's the pre-call to make sure you should actually go and do the walkthrough. It's potentially the walkthrough. It's when you have to fire someone. Let's set an intention that you want them to understand, you want the best for them, they leave nicely, and you can even imagine them getting the perfect job for them, right? We can intend that. Um, what else? There's price increases. Okay.
Such a good one.
Again, let's pre-set the intention because I will explain to you what happens if we don't. We're like, let's just go in and see how this works.
Well, I think, well, you tell me if you disagree, Suzanne, because I'm wrong often. My experience has been I always preset the intention. It's just whether I do it on purpose or I do it by default. So I love the price raising conversation because that's same with the firing, right? Like there's a default of they are going to be pissed. This is going to be awful. They're going to hate me. I'm going to feel like a bad person. And things can turn out differently when you go in with that intention, but boy, is it hard to overcome. And if you go in with this is going to be great, they're going to be appreciative of getting such a good price up until now. And they're going to tell me how much they love the service and we're going to feel great. There might even be a hug involved, God forbid. And I'm not saying that's going to happen 100% of the time, but boy, oh boy, does the likelihood go up exponentially.
Exactly what we're doing. We're increasing the likelihood that you have these successful moments. So that ties in perfectly. Number one of the three is decide the outcome you desire.
That love, love, love it.
In each and every interaction, decide the outcome you desire. And it's going to help get you there because if you don't, you're almost buffeted by the wind.
And leave out the yeah buts, right? Because we want to go, well, I want Suzanne to do this, but she's gonna blah blah. It's like just give yourself a break. Just for now, just here's what I want, period. No comma, just here's what I want.
Right. Here's what I want. Now, the second thing, once you've decided the outcome that you desire, the second thing to do is to create an intention visualization.
Ooh, now we're getting fancy.
Uh-huh. So, what you're going to do before every interaction, my highest recommendation for success, is to take a few minutes and picture the positive outcome you desire. We all know, Mike, you said it. Our head goes to, oh, but they're going to say, I'm going to do price increase, and they're going to say, that's it. I quit. I'm going to lose all my customers. I'm going to be homeless on the street.
Visualization. We're feeling and seeing all these pictures in our mind. We're visualizing.
Exactly. So, if you can say, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Yeah, that's one possibility. However, let's go to the abundance and wealth mentality that things are going to go right. And you can take a few minutes and visualize. If it's a price increase, the person is saying to you, oh my goodness, I had no idea I was getting such a good deal for so long. Thank you. Of course, I love you. Like you said, Mike, maybe there's even a hug involved, right? If it's a walkthrough, you picture yourself meeting them, having a great rapport, being able to ask the great paying conversation questions. And at the end, you've got this really great rapport and you sum it all up and they say yes. How about that as a visual before you walk in?
May I add, because this is so powerful, I'm going to give a disclaimer and then my experience. My disclaimer is this is probably one of the things I'm the weakest at, Suzanne. I've done it and it's been wildly effective. And I'm just so lazy. So I'm just saying that because I don't ever want to come on the podcast and say I do this. And then I feel like I just want to be honest. So I'm not going to say I've never done this. So I'm completely out of turn. Then I would just be like, I don't know, let Suzanne talk. So I have done this. I'm just bad at it. And it's so frustrating because I've been very effective. So that's just my disclaimer for my own conscience. That said, I have found when I do this, which is 10% of the time and it should be 90%, which is so dumb. I don't know why I do that, but anyway, not about me. For me, and tell me if this is something that would be helpful for everyone, or maybe I've got a unique experience. I don't think I do, but when I visualize how I'll feel works better than the specific thing. So if I'm like, I'm going to say this and she's going to say that, and it's going to go, and sometimes it does. And that kind of is a fun, like, holy crap, did I just like create this thing? And that's kind of a fun thing. But if we're not looking for fun, we're really looking for effectiveness. Whether Suzanne and I hug or shake hands or she smiles or says this word or that word, again, kind of fun to predict and watch it happen. But more than that, I know how I want to feel during and after the interaction. I really focus on that. Is that helpful? Is that helping people get in the right direction or moving away?
It's very helpful. The reason we actually do the visualization is to put ourselves in the feeling place of success.
Okay. So that's okay to be like, I kind of want a loose outline of how it goes, but this is really how I want to feel about the whole thing.
Right, exactly. Because, I mean, realistically, no, you can't orchestrate everything. There's another person involved. It's not like a dance choreography. But you can get the general gist and the feeling.
Okay.
And
So
that's what we're looking for.
decide the outcome. Two, visualize how you want it to go and how you want to feel, which you can control. And I think if you visualize how you want them to feel, you can influence. I don't think you can control that, but you can certainly influence it. Anything did I miss on number 1 and 2, or is it?
No, those are perfect. Those are perfect. It's time for number 3. Thank you.
Hey, Clean Nation, Mike Campion here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting them in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. And we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk.
Number 3 is center yourself. And to center yourself, I'm going to say, take a deep breath in and out. And I would suggest everybody actually do it, because otherwise we're just talking words here. But if you anchor this moment in time and you take a deep breath in, Mike, I invite you to do it with me. Okay. It helps you, I think you feel, at least for that little moment, you feel yourself more centered, right? You're sitting a little differently in your seat. You feel the energy. And it helps you come from a positive place, and it helps you find your strength.
So funny. Most of the stuff you say, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That's the reasonable next step. This is one of the few times you said number 3, be centered or center yourself. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. A, I didn't see it coming. B, I don't understand it. So give me, if you would, or us as listeners, some synonyms, because centered is squishy for me. I don't understand it so well.
Bring your energy in. Let's go back even to core values. What are my core values? What are my strengths? What do I desire? How do I desire to show up?
So I'm going to tell you what I think I hear you saying, so you can say if I got it or if I'm misunderstanding. What I hear you say is kind of connect this conversation and the outcome I want to a bigger, more overreaching purpose. Am I totally absconding with what you're saying?
No, it's more bringing all of your energy and all your power into yourself, into your being.
That sounds very advanced. How would I do that other than taking a deep breath?
Okay.
Or
that will do it. Believe it or not, that will do it. Okay. Simply by the doing of the deep breath, a couple of deep breaths, it will help you always choose how to respond, not react to a situation. So a little side note, something happens, and let's say someone takes a punch at you. Our first knee-jerk reaction is to punch back. However, and maybe it's a verbal punch. Okay. Could be physical punch or a verbal punch. Our first knee jerk reaction is, oh, yeah. However, if we take a moment to take a breath, instead of reacting, we can choose how we respond. I'm going to say it's a power position for us.
That's really helpful. So let me repeat what I think, because now I think I got it.
Okay.
I don't think I did before. And if
Thank
I'm
you.
missing it, I'm guessing some of the listeners are missing as well. So centering is just like, I don't know what that means, but in gathering my power to myself, I don't know what that means either. But taking a deep breath, I know what that means. I know I can do it. And even if I don't understand the mechanism, if you're like, you'll still get the benefit, dummy, just take the deep breath. That helps. But it also helps me to connect with so that I can respond and not react to what's going to happen next. I'm like, okay, those are all words I understand and can keep up with.
Exactly. It's kind of like I was talking before about being buffeted by the wind. If you're not, I'm going to use the word centered again. If you're not calm and centered in you and how you desire to show up, you're going to react to everybody else's stress. You're going to react to um, their stress, their desires. But if you say, no, this is me, this is my intention, I'm going to respond in the best way possible, and you intend that, it will help the process actually happen the way you want it.
So it's a good synonym for calm and centered. Intentionally responsive as opposed to unintentionally reactive.
Beautiful. Yes.
Okay, really helpful, because I think there's an important one that if I didn't get, I wouldn't
Okay.
have done and I would have missed out. Now that I get it, I'm like, I can take a breath for sure, but it's helped me to know, just put it in words I get of like, okay, the goal is so I can be responsive, not reactive to whatever's coming up. Like that's huge because I think many of the things I've done in my life that I don't think were optimal were responsive and not reactive.
Mhm. And
Or sorry,
again,
the opposite, reactive, not
it
responsive.
it helps us, it helps bring us back to being making the most of every interaction. What was our intention? Sometimes somebody else can take it off the rail, right? It's so far out there, you're like, what? I don't understand. This is nowhere near what I intended. If you breathe and I have to say, center yourself. If you breathe and you have that intention, you reaffirm the intention, you will bring it back.
I
You'll
have
bring
found
it
that
back.
when people act crazy and you respond with crazy, crazy ensues. When you act crazy, when someone else acts crazy and you act sane, sane can annoy them sometimes if they're really crazy. If you act kind and sane, I found a lot of people are just like, boy, am I acting like a jerk, right? Because when
Mhm.
you yell at me, you don't feel like you're acting like a jerk. You feel righteous in your anger, or you wouldn't be yelling at me. And when I yell back, that's great fuel for your fire to go, look at this psychopath yelling at me. He deserved every I can't imagine Suzanne yelling at anyone. Even when she's speaking in a large group without a microphone, I can't get her to yell. So yelling in anger, I can't picture, but maybe I'll talk to Sean. He's like, oh, trust me, right? I've seen this lady yell. But if I yell at you and you respond with a smile, and I'm so sorry you feel that way, that must be really frustrating. If it's not condescending, obviously condescending, you're gonna, that's not a thing. If you truly are just like, man, that sounds awful, it is tough for people to be like, I'm gonna keep yelling. And if they do, and you go a second time with, wow, thank you for sharing. If I were in your situation, I'd probably be twice as mad as you. It's tough for people to keep going. All right, there's a
There's a
phantom.
bit more to number three.
Okay, and then there's a Phantom 4 that I want to lay out and have you fill in the blank, but I don't want to cut off number 3.
Okay. So, and by the way, please remember you can use this with your family. You can use this with your kids. You can use this with your spouse. You can use this with your sister. Okay. It works on everything all the time. So, the rest of number three is center yourself and do it. Take action. We're talking about the scenario right now of every interaction that you want to have. Okay. We have some of our commercial clients that are having to do phone calls to follow up on mail outs that they've done for new clients. Take a moment. Don't waste the visualization, the intention, and the centering of yourself. Don't waste it. Actually do it. Because if you don't do it, if you don't take the action, you just have to repeat the same process later.
And the pain, if it's a conversation you're not particularly looking forward to, it always gets worse with time,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh. One of my rules for marriage is you never go to bed angry.
Yeah. Yeah. That conversation, and it's like, yeah, I love that. And that's just good for, I think, general business. Like if there's something, there's a whole book, Eat That Frog. Like when there's something that you find to be a tough one, just knock that thing out first. It gets, if you think the cost is high now, wait later and pay the cost plus interest. It doesn't get cheaper in the future. It gets more expensive. So pay it now. Okay. Here's the fourth thing that I wanted to ask. When we do that, one of two things is going to happen. We're going to finish that interaction, but holy crap, that was amazing. Just like I wanted it, like again, loosely, not like it's not like we're going to send them a script, but I felt the way I wanted to feel. And it generally turned out surprisingly how I intentioned, not how I unintentionally, not how I expected. Two, they're going to go off the rails like, wow, I came in with this and they came in with that. And we got sideways. I don't feel the way I want to feel at all. What's how do we close that loop? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to just, because for me, I would just have either experience and not probably reflect on it like I could or should and just move on and make the same mistake. How do I reinforce when it goes well? Yeah. What's step
Great
four?
Question. Just keep doing it.
So no step four, just like, all right, next interaction.
Right. What we're doing here, we cannot guarantee that every result will go exactly like you desired the outcome to be. However, the more you do it, the more successes you'll have and the more often things go your way.
So if I just had a good interaction, that's a fairly easy one to go, wow, that really worked out well. I want to double down on my intentional visualization in the future. Or wow, that went so well. Let me do it again. I'm going to visualize something, call that guy. If it doesn't go so well, for me, I'm just like, I close the loop. How do I kind of in my mind be like, all right, did this, thought this, and then kind of shove it away? Is there any need for that? Or is there just like, moving on? No second thought.
Moving on. Cool. You're not going to hit everything 100%, but I can guarantee your success rate will go up.
Of course.
By simply being mindful of creating the outcome you desire with every interaction.
Yeah, it's the whole thing of like, well, I had an uncle who drank and smoked and lived to 100. It's like, all right, so the lesson is to drink and smoke. Like, come on, man. Like we can all, no offense, drinkers, smokers, but we can all agree like, hey, if long life is a goal, those probably are not helpful. So same thing. Well, I visualized once, it didn't work the way I want. It's like, yeah, got it. But got it. All right. Man, that's really good. I usually have closing thoughts, but I feel like you really communicated that wildly powerfully. Anything to add, Suzanne, or you feel like you got it all out?
I think we're complete.
All right. Well, I don't know about complete. You can be complete. I got a lot lacking. You can ask my wife if you don't believe me, but I think we did a good job on that topic. So Cleaning Nation, yeah, I want to encourage you, try that now. Like before you hit the next podcast or go on to the next thing, take a minute. Think about a conversation that you've been maybe putting off and go, how would I like it to go? How would I like to feel? Take a deep breath, center yourself, connect with like, all right, I'm going to respond to this person, not react. Give it a spin and shoot us an email. Let us know how it goes. I would love to hear your experiences. All right. That's about it. For those of you that are like, this is good. I love the generalized stuff, but it's frustrating. I would like to ask questions, have specific things. You never talk about them. Feel free to reach out. Mike at growmycleaningcompany.com is my email. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com, the Facebook group, the Instagram, blah, blah, blah. There's 1,000 ways to get a hold. There's a whole team of people smarter and better looking than I that want to help you. Just reach out to us. Let us know how we can help. But yeah, really appreciate you, Suzanne. Appreciate you, Clean Nation. We'll do this again soon. See ya. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It'd mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.